Good morning. Second attempt at filming this because I keep having an alarm interrupt my videos, so I've turned them off. That shouldn't happen again. Um, okay, I'm gonna do this off the cuff. I haven't thought about what my water reflection is yet, and I'm okay if it's bad. I'm okay if what I come up with isn't anything great. I'm okay if I don't come up with anything. One thing I want is to put out awful videos. I want to put out videos that I'm not happy with. I want to put out videos I'm not proud of, that I'd be embarrassed to share, because one thing I really want to instill in myself is not being held back. So if I constantly put out videos that I'm not happy with, I'm building that up in myself to not be held back, to put things out even when I'm not ready to do them. Just like for job applications, you don't have to wait till your resume is good enough to start applying. You don't have to wait to start dating until you're where you want to be at. Just start putting yourself out there in your worst state, because you might find people are more accepting than you think. There's people who get jobs they're not qualified for. I just don't want to be held back anymore. I want to instill consistency in myself, and so that means putting things out every day. And I'm not going to be where I want to be at mentally every day. I'm not going to come up with ideas that I'm happy with every day, but I want to not be held back when that happens. So I'm going to be doing this whenever I'm here. I don't remember how I got to this before in the video I was filming just prior to this, but I think tied to that idea of not wanting to be held back is holding this conviction, where when a reluctance comes up, like I'm just not feeling it, I don't feel like doing it, I can shut that down, because I'm sure of what I want and what I don't want. I don't want to be held back, so I can hold this attitude, almost like an aggressive attitude, where I'll even feel intimidating, and I'll be like, test me, reluctance, test me, any sort of thought that's trying to keep me from who I want to be. Test me. I'm going to shut you down. I know what I want. I don't want to be held back. And just holding this sort of attitude of aggression and intimidation, I found has been so helpful in so many different things, including NoFap. What started me on my long streak was this idea of actively look away, actively think away. So actively look away from a girl on the street that I might want to check out. Actively look away. Actively think of way of any sort of lustful thought. And then affirming to myself, like, this is not where it happens, this is not who it happens with, this is not when it happens, this is not what happens. I will get what I'm settling for. Just holding this attitude of aggression and strictness and seriousness leads to sureness in what I actually want and who I am. And having it be very intimidating and really feeling that in me, I feel like overpowers any other feeling that I could have. Feeling of reluctance to do something, feeling of giving up, feeling of not doing the thing that I want to do right now, or feelings of doing something that I know I shouldn't. Like, holding this aggression and attitude keeps me grounded in who I am, and just overpowers anything else that would take me from that. And I've been meditating on this rock, and what I found is meditation can have a very similar effect, but going about it a little differently. So when thoughts come up, you actively pull away from them. You come back to your breath, and you just actively pull away. You come back to your breath. So you're not shutting them down necessarily, but you kind of are. You're shutting down thoughts that are trying to take you away from the breath. So it's going about a similar process, but instead of being angry and aggressive, which I think is okay to embrace, especially since I've never been in a fight in my life, I'd like to embrace that part of me in something like this in a healthy way. But I could also go about it in a very peaceful and calming way through meditation. So I think I'm going to do this every day as well, because it's a very good tool to have. Now, back to the water. Fortunately, I can't swap the cameras as I'm filming, so I hope it captures what I'm seeing with my eyes. What I like to do is just pick out things that are different, because every morning's different when it comes to sunrise, and then I'll try and grab some sort of meaning from that. So a few things I've noticed today. There's a very, very clear divide in the colors of the water. Near the horizon, there's about a centimeter or so in my vision of like a really dark water, and then closer to me, for the majority of the lake here, it's very light. And I've also noticed that there are multiple streams of light here, and I rarely ever see anything like that. Usually it's the sun that I see, and the sun is the only one. So let's try and think through what this could possibly be interpreted to mean. Well, the further color that's very dark seems to be blocking off all the light because the reflection of the clouds. So those streams of light never really make it to the edge, and that goal that I would have been shooting for, the sun, is kind of gone. And these streams of light also don't really reach to me. So they could possibly symbolize other paths. Multiple paths. We have multiple paths we can take through life. But it seems like it's cut off for me, and these paths don't lead to what I'd want to lead to anyways. So maybe this is just an interpretation of everything I've just been talking about being sure of myself and grounded and able to shut anything else down. All these other paths that I could possibly take are now no longer a part of who I am. They're cut off from me. I've cut myself off from them because I've seen they don't lead to where I want to go. That's just one meaning. I'd love to hear, if anyone does watch this, I'd love to see what your interpretations of it could mean. That'd be really nice to see. Okay, that's all. Thanks for joining if you watched, and I'll see you next time.